So for me, as the finance manager, the single chart of accounts is an absolute godsend. I mean, I come from a background where I'm used to working with a single chart of accounts, and we did not have that in Sage 200, but in Sage Intacct, we've got that. Solution supported us in putting that chart of accounts in place by deciding where we'd have accounts on Sage 200 that were in multiple GL accounts, but it was the same thing. So they helped us to consolidate that up. So the single chart of accounts was a big one. The intercompany accounting was another big one because we no longer have the problem of not completing the circuit of those entries and being able to view multiple entities at the same time. I mean, yes, they're on separate tabs, but you can still go to company one and look at company two at the same time, or even if you're au fait enough with what you're doing, use the top view. And that was something we absolutely could not do on Sage 200. It is an absolute godsend on Intacct. So going back to before Intacct, we were on Sage 200. We were running 15 entities off of Sage 200, and all of them had their own chart of accounts. There was no intercompanies. If you wanted to look at more than one company at once, you had to technically log out of one and log back into the other. It was a bit of a nightmare. Cross-company charging was virtually impossible. You were having to raise a journal in one company and then remember to raise the contra journal in the other company. And then we got to a point where our Sage 200 was about to become obsolete. Solutions contacted us as soon as they knew about it, but we had about a 4-month window to switch, which was, kind of a bit tight. But that's where we came from on this. Things like the accounts payables team, if they had an invoice come in, and we get this quite a lot, that involved numerous of our sites, and those sites are not necessarily all in the same company or entity. So what they'd have to do is they'd have to pay the invoice and process the invoice in one entity, and then park effectively part of that invoice to an account on the balance sheet just out of the way. And then they'd have to go and journal that across all the individual companies. So it was quite a piece of work to do an intercompany invoice, for example. And then from my perspective, when it came to doing your audits, the fact that my intercompanies virtually never balanced because someone will have forgotten to do one half of a journal and having to manually match them all off. For the accounts receivable guys, this wasn't as big an issue, because they don't do cross-company or anything like that. So it wasn't as big a problem for them. It was mainly the financial reporting and the accounts payable guys that it really hit. We did look at one other, the name of which has totally escaped me in the, whatever it is, 3 years we've been on Sage Intacct. But we did look at one other. It was too flash for what we needed, basically. And because we already had the relationship with Solutions, because they were supporting our Sage 200, it made sense for us to take the steer from Solutions to look at Sage Intacct. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it would have been, I think, daft of us to change from what is a trusted partner with our ERP and etc. For us to have changed support would have been too big a thing to do at the same time as changing ERP. And we have a good working relationship with Solutions anyways, so why rock that boat? You guys supported us through it, and we didn't have any great issues with implementation. Like all these things, after a while we found that certain things that we'd implemented weren't quite doing it for us, but that was about 6 months down the line. once we got used to the system, and the support was there throughout. It was really quite good. Audits. The auditor can get into the back of Intacct quite happily. We allow them entry for 2 or 3 months whilst they're doing that. They only have to deal with a single chart of accounts. We can prepare our intercompanies, our intercompany creditors, intercompany debtors, all that lot so much easier now. We're cracking through audits a lot faster. Our monthly reporting that we do here, we now use the custom report writer, which is something we never really had in Sage 200. That now runs my MI for me. I still got to send it out, but it runs my reports for me without me having to do loads of spreadsheets like the old days. And tax returns. Oh my God, I can do my VAT in like 10 minutes. It's brilliant. So there's a lot of things that Sage Intacct has made easier for us. On the accounts receivable side, as a result of, was it the last release in Sage Intacct, I believe? They've switched on customer refunds, and that is saving the AR guys, because we do refunds in a block once a week. We don't do them as they arise. So it is saving the accounts receivable some time. I couldn't tell you how much time, but it's definitely making it smoother. It used to be sort of half off book and then half of it done in Sage Intacct, whereas now I believe it's virtually all done in Sage Intacct. So that's definitely making things sweeter on that front. Adding an entity is so easy. I can add a new entity into Sage Intacct in the space of about 5 minutes, and that includes setting up its tax if necessary. It's all been great. I mean, you guys have been good partners for us for a number of years now. We've been able to work with you guys on streamlining things. I mean, there was one time I was struggling with the MI, so I can't remember who it was. It might have been Grant. Sat down with me at a Solutions Customer Day, and we sat there in half an hour and wrote a report between us. I can't imagine being able to do that with another support provider. It would be, I'll send it to the help desk. We're not, 2 weeks later, we might tell you how to do it. If we hit a problem, we know if we have to come to the help desk, you are returning to us so fast, and you've helped us to develop our interfaces with third-party apps as well. And the fact that you work with us rather than talk to us, as it were, is just so nice to get. It's not something you see everywhere.